Hello out there. Hello, 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 hello. Just kind of waiting here by myself, enjoying this music. Hi, Grimmer.
Hello. Ugh.
Glad to have you join me.
The later in the day it gets, the steeper those stairs become. I'm just saying.
Oh, we're thinking about moving our little office area down to a different part of our space that we live in. And so you might see some changes coming up. I don't know. We're hoping so, right, Grimmer? Oh, what am
Well,
I doing? I'm just going to get these stuck in my hair for the next hour.
you know, one of the things that I love about where we're at right now is we can move our computer downstairs and shoot out the view of this beautiful stained glass window,
Mm,
or the option of our scarves and tapestries hanging from a pole behind us.
right.
Let's go with the stained glass window.
I think I'd like to try that
Yeah.
for a while. Possibly, maybe. Hmm. So, how is every witch? How are you out there? Let me see who's with us. I see some names popping in. Hi, Timmy King. Hello, hello. Hello, Michelle. Hello, Constance. Hello, Victoria Williams. Nice to see you all. Well, that's just a short little list. So if you're here, oh, look, it doesn't even. Oh, and look, all of a sudden we don't have enough of that again. So that means we're probably like,
We're being throttled.
you think?
You were going to talk about something magical today,
Oh,
weren't you?
oh my goodness. Well,
Oh,
yes.
and your side profile is very fey today. You've been
Sometimes
having kind
it's,
of a fey day today too,
I've been
haven't you?
having some. Yeah, I've been having some. Well, it's kind of part of this whole perspective thing that we're talking about. I mean, that's, I want to wait for a few more people to get
Yeah.
in here with us
Oh, Christy just joined us and Kimmy
before we
King.
dive right in, but let's just let a few folks come about. If you usually get tagged by Susan, I don't know. Um, my phone died earlier today and it's still not charged, and I've just been running, running, running all day long. So haven't had a chance to charge it. So I don't even know if she sent me a message that says, she's not going to be here. So and I didn't think to switch over to that account before you went live here, huh? So if you know what's up with Susan, that's, hope things are okay. I don't honestly know. I hope I didn't miss anything major. Hope everything's okay. But yeah, my phone is.
Tag a friend.
Thank you, Grim. Tag a friend, please. The
And the
babbling
fog
ninny
and
continues.
the fog drifts in and the fog drifts out.
Shut up. It's I've been this way for a couple of days too, and it isn't just
It isn't just you.
it isn't just me. No, it isn't, and it's also not just um, when I'm you know actively smoking weed, which I do around this time every day. But truthfully, uh, I know quite a few people are talking about this, you know, timey wimey weirdness going on, and I want to talk about that with everybody, but I want to make sure that a few more people land here before we start. So let's do Grim. Let's
Mist, can you get the vacuuming done before 4:20 today?
Yeah, right. Grimm's been experiencing his own time loop.
Oh boy.
Yesterday, he kept thinking it was a 420 day, so he kept asking Mist to accomplish their chores before before 4:20, and both Mist and I would look at each other and say, "What is going on?" You kept thinking it was Wednesday, didn't
Yeah.
you?
So much so that I got all the garbage ready to go out to the dumpster tomorrow to make sure that, out to the curb and whatnot. Everything.
But like that happened four more times.
Oh, yeah, it's not just, it was all day repeated in this loop of feeling like I had to get Thursday chores ready to go.
Right, right, right. Well, and so I want to talk about that because it fits right into this perspective thing that we're discussing. And I thank you everybody for tagging some folks. And oh, looks like Susan is here. That's great. Good, Susan. I'm glad you're here, hon. You know, I don't have my phone turned on. I worry because she communicates with me starting about 3 o'clock. Plug your phone in, but this time I couldn't even get the message because it died so early in the day. Oh, we got a couple extra folks here. I think I said that Christy Reed joined us, right? So Christy Reed is here and she's tagging some folks, and Susan's here, and Naomi DeVille is here. Tooled Up is here, leveled up, tooled up, leveled up 250. Oh, goodness sakes.
I did the same
That's a
thing.
trigger thing to say because we have a person in our coven with that title, leveled up. And those aren't name or words that we speak very frequently.
Happy leveling up day to 50 years
Happy
of
leveling
age.
up day. Woo! I had to double take that one. Like what? Okay. Jane Husky is here. Now Jay is here, and Shelby is here. So that's great. We've got a lot of folks that spread the love, spread the joy.
So I don't know who said it, but somebody said they were experiencing, like, got lost trying to drive home yesterday in familiar situations.
Yeah, and Kimmy up here said, I forgot how to get to a specific place in town
Yeah,
yesterday.
that's the one
I
maybe.
drove 20 minutes in the wrong direction. Well, and it's kind of that sort of energy. I had someone texting with me yesterday, and it's someone who's, magic I trust, and they were telling me that they felt as if it kind of like reality felt sort of dreamy, and as if things weren't really as they seem. Like it wouldn't shock them at all to suddenly wake up and realize they're still back home in Kansas. You
Now,
know?
I almost, as you're talking, it almost feels like that point where you're coming out of surgery or coming out of dental, you're coming through from a deep sleep.
Yes.
You see the reality around
Uh
you, but
oh.
you're still in that space behind.
Yes. We got a trickster
Well, it's
amongst us.
an easy fix here at the Purple Door to get rid of people that are butthole scammers. You just do this
Oh my
and
goodness.
say confirm, bye bye.
So, yes, absolutely. I want to talk about perspective because it's important, not only to discuss, kind of what's going on energy wise, but also to discuss what shifting perspective can feel like or look like. Because we can talk about it all we want. I can paint you a beautiful picture on the Serengeti plain with, this lion and this vulture. We've done that several times together. That's mindful meditation, and that's all well and good, but well, anyways, the perspective that you need in the here and now sometimes is the most important one, and being awake and aware and knowing that you're shifting perspective, those aha moments is sometimes what we call them. That's what I want to talk about today because sometimes they look different for different people.
Yeah. Well, I know when there's times that when you're saying when we're in an argument or a disagreement, a stressful situation, try and shift your perspective to see it from a different point of view so you can maybe diffuse the argument or the tense situation. But that's
Right,
difficult to do
right.
in the moment. So you're right. I think what you're saying
Grim,
is go ahead.
I'm really not saying anything yet
Okay.
because what I want to do is set our space and light the candle.
Okay.
And then let's have a healthy conversation about
I like
perspective.
that plan.
Get yourself some drink. Here.
Oh no, I don't need that.
Okay. Okay. Bringing it back
I,
in because
I
I really want
may
to get.
I
Okay.
want to say something really quick. I think you actually helped trigger a reason why I've been in that space of timey wimey
What
so
is
much
that?
with the perspective thing.
Oh, good. So we can talk about it when we.
Yes.
Ah, and that little. I'm gonna get you, Brandon. Tooled up. He said that's why I wrote it that way. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. Oh, my goodness. No, that's funny. That is funny, funny, funny. You did throw me off. You did. And by the way, happy birthday. This was actually these last couple days. It's been um, a whole lot of happy birthdays around the Purple Door in the community. Just lots of folks I happen to know. You know, a lot of times we always have at least. What do you think, Grim? Maybe 10 names per
Yeah.
week. What do you think, Susan? On average, 5 to 10 names per week. And sometimes I know one name on there. Sometimes I don't know any of the names on there, really, because
Yeah.
they're not people that interact very much. Hello, Cheryl. Hello, hello. Hello, Ann Mills. Don't fall for that scam artist out there. There's one kind of trolling our comments right now. Don't fall for it. They're not part of us. So
But you've been recognizing a lot of the names on the birthday list.
yeah, lately it seems like there's a lot of that
I
going
wonder
on.
if that goes to show that the people in your influence sphere are zodiacally aligned with you.
Ooh, that would be interesting. Well, that, tribe, right?
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
maybe not zodiacally, however you
I know.
said it,
I
but maybe definitely vibrationally, you know. Well, it makes sense, right? If you've got a great big, think of the Blue Man Group. Here I
okay.
haven't even lit my fucking candle. God damn it. Stop. Okay, Blue Man Group. I hope I remember what I was going to fucking say. Let's light this candle.
Wow.
Let's light this candle. No,
With
I'm calling this space, Grimmer. Okay, I'm serious. I am done with the universe like plotting against me to not move forward with my plans. So we're lighting this candle because that's what I want to do. And it's what we need to do because we need to draw our focus and we need to remember that in the midst of all of this chaos going on out there right now, all the fear mongering, all the fear about famine, death, war, all the grief and anger and deconstruction, the hidden agendas, all of that bullshit out there swirling around us. And no matter how much we are involved, if you get out there in protest on the streets like some folks do that gather here, or if you are someone that, tries to stay away from that because it's just too much for your system, we're not judging. We understand both ends of that spectrum. And I just want to call that focus together now that regardless of where you are, where you fall on that Fey spectrum, that neurodivergent spectrum, no matter where you fall on it, when we gather here in community as tribe, we gather not as a political person or as a person with some type of a religious value. We gather in spirit. Yes, you're all looking at me and Grim, and you can interact with us visually that way. And we could do a Zoom call, and all of us could see each other's faces, and they'd be a little glitchy, and we'd get a glimpse into one another's lives. But those of us that gather here have come to know and trust one another to the point that our energy extends beyond where we sit, where we breathe, where we live, and reaches out in circle to touch the others that join us here from around the world, really. And some of them don't even speak their names out loud. They never mention a word in the comments. But drawing all that energy together now, knowing that we're in a safe space, in a liminal space, in a haven for now, working within the construct of what we know and what we understand things to be. I call upon our divine Mother, Father, God, Goddess energy. Keep breathing, don't hold your breath. Get yourself grounded a little bit. Feel those roots tapping into the ground, energy tendrils reaching down from the very bottoms of your feet, down into the ground, keeping you steady and whole, keeping you remembering where you came from, the lessons that have been learned, the thoughts, the actions, the desires, all of those connections from this life and past lives as well. Memories of our ancestors, our beloved dead, coming forward, bringing forward to us this time. We've been saying for years it's time to reconnect, remember who you are. It's time to pick up that mantle that our ancestors put down ever so long ago because they were forced to. They were told to, that if they didn't, they would somehow die or their families would suffer, and things went underground, way underground. Calling upon our Fey ancestry, calling upon those energies and entities that are gathered here for our utmost and highest good. Their energies may remain, but other energies that are here for malevolent or aggressive reasons, cast aside. Negative energy unwanted here, only that which is for our greatest and highest good. Welcome, welcome. We honor your wisdom and clarity. We honor the steps that we take ourselves in the shadows of who we were once and in the light of who we will be tomorrow, today, right now. And so it is.
And so it is.
I know that the words that we're going to speak today are going to be on point because things have been so chaotic. Last week, when we, or what day did we do? Did we do Monday? Yeah, we did Monday live stream at
Mm-hmm.
420. And I got off. It's the first time I've actually stepped away from a 420 and said, gosh, I really wish I hadn't done that one because it just felt, and I've had some bumpy ones, trust me, but for some reason Monday felt off somehow different. And oh, I've got a little question in here.
Don't let it derail the
Don't
moment.
let it. Oh, it already did. Piss up a rope. But don't worry, because we're talking about perspective. And I was going to tell you, we were talking about the Blue Man Group.
Yes, yes. I was going
So,
to bring you back to that.
so you all know. I hope you know who the Blue Man Group is. If you don't know who the Blue Man Group is, go Google that and look it up for yourself and give yourself
YouTube.
a treat. Uh, it is a visual as well as like visceral experience because these folks drum and they also have paint on their drums, like glow in the dark paint that goes all over the place, a spattering, and and there's lights and it's just very cool.
Ah,
So I was thinking about how that drum vibration works, and if you have paint on a surface like that, it will vibrate, bounce around for a long time,
mm-hmm.
bounce, bounce, bounce. But then, like the different particles start finding their
Their
balance in
their
the middle.
balance. Yep.
And that's kind of how I feel when I talk about like some of our community that gathers around us. I feel like we see things from a similar perspective. Now, not everybody might be at this very same spot looking in,
Right.
but or looking out, I should say. But I do think that a lot of us are at least we're climbing. We're working on
We're
continually searching
we're
for.
finding ways to merge our vibration into a very unique beat.
Right, right. And so as far as perspective goes, when you think about, uh-oh, here comes a sneeze.
Uh oh.
Hello, first one.
That really was a neat visual that you gave, though, about the paint on the drum.
Hello and welcome.
Because you're right,
My goodness.
depending on the view that you have of that drum being beat upon, will determine if you can see the rhythm within the splash pattern, or if you just see chaos. Bless you. Hello and welcome.
We are definitely in support by the ancestors because here's the thing. You know, for the last several years, we've been talking about, you know, get in touch with your past lives. It's time to remember who you are, remember, allow that information in. We've suggested, you know, looking into the Akashic records. We've talked about, you know, doing some past life regressions, um, any number of ways that you might seek that information. And a lot of times, past life info comes up in the readings that we give. Or at least I don't know about you,
Not so much for me.
but for me, that's usually a component. Not always, but sometimes. I don't know. It's just one of those things when I look at someone's energy, I can see farther out layers from past lives that I can sometimes just glimpse just a moment
Well,
sometimes.
I would say that when you are on the other side of the veil, connected to the ancestors, in the case of divination, when you hit on that past life thread, is that because you're probably hitting their own a life that not only did they live, but they were their own ancestor also?
Not always. No, no. Sometimes I really I don't know how frequently we are our own ancestors.
Right.
I don't know if it's frequent like soulmates or if it's infrequent like twin flames. I don't know if it's I don't know, and I really
It's
haven't
just a cosmic
asked.
roll of the dice,
I,
probably, but
I don't know. I haven't asked, but one of these days, that's a question that we need to put on the list.
mhm.
I guess I could ask right now, but um,
I think it takes more than just one session to figure that one
I don't know.
out.
But on the topic of perspective and those aha moments, what we're talking about is, you know how you might be cooking one day. Maybe you're making your grandmother's favorite chocolate chip cookie recipe. And all of a sudden, you are trying to figure out why Grammy put cayenne pepper in the chocolate chip cookies. Now, some might say it could be for flavor, right? Because I do like a little spicy chocolate. I don't want to ever. I okay. Just take that for what I said. Okay, I do like, I do like spicy cocoa and chocolate, but I love it. I
Yeah,
love it.
you're stuck in like chocolat land right
I
now,
want
aren't you?
some chocolate right now. I want some. I don't want this tea. I want some
You want a
chocolate.
nice rich cup of
I do
cocoa with just a dash of.
a little bit of cream and a
Oh yeah.
dash of pepper. But but one day you might be making that particular, soup or blend or chocolate, cocoa, whatever, and you might go, "Oh, that's why grandma always did that." Like boom, the perspective light gets switched on. It's an aha moment where you realize, and it wasn't just because it added flavor, but perhaps it was something that she was trying to encourage, like manifest good health or whatnot. And a lot of kitchen witches chocolate chip cookies carry many, many a wish forward and into people's tummies around the world. So, um, well, at least in the westernized world. I
Yeah,
would imagine other places like China. I've never been there, but I would imagine they have chocolate chip cookies, don't you think?
I would think
I
so.
mean, they have
You would
Subway.
have to.
Subway has chocolate chip cookies. I don't know. Anyways,
I don't. Just really quick, I'm going to derail you for a moment.
oh yay,
I've got it so you can no longer see the comments because I've
we
noticed
got a
today we're
scammer.
both. Well, no, we're just both easily distracted.
Oh, okay.
So if we're not responding to things that you're saying right now, it's not that we're ignoring you. It's we're ignoring the whole comment thread right now.
Oh, okay. Well, I do know we've had a couple of scammers trying to float in,
Yep. So, but I have been bouncing in there really quick to
like the
check on them,
turds they are.
like the turds. Mitch, you're on it today.
I'm just tired of people, the world is hard enough without having to worry about divisive,
Yeah.
unintegral, it's
It's
it's just like, oh,
But have you noticed that almost any, and I know this is going to kind of derail it, maybe it is part of
would you
perspective.
quit saying that? You're setting me up for
No,
derailment.
you're right, you're right.
Oh,
Let's see how perspective can play into this. All of the scammers that we're finding online in these spiritual groups, posting things as benign as nobody can guess the answer to some ridiculous riddle. And when you do guess the answer, you get these message me for your reward or get a free reading or all of these unintegral, obvious, non spiritually related shit. There's a lot of it out there.
there's a lot of it, and it's going to get
It's
worse.
going to get worse. But why would people respond to those? That's where I got confused really yesterday.
Well, I think there are still a large number of folks who don't understand that they're being scammed. I think there are, like I said, we're all on our own like path. We're on our own um, part of the journey, and
Mm-hmm.
so I think it's perspective. I think some people. I was Today I was brushing my teeth like I always do before any readings or live streams like this because I don't channel with dirty teeth. Just don't. But I was, doing some mirror work like I do when I'm getting ready for these sort of things. You know, little makeup, little little mascara, little lipstick, making sure my hair doesn't suck. And that's when I usually have conversations with spirit about, what is the message for today? And so that's where this whole topic of through the lens of perspective, the first step toward understanding perspective is allowing yourself to have it. If you don't allow yourself to see other perspectives, if you're so shut down that you can't see other perspectives, how are you supposed to grow? You know, that's how trees grow together in a forest. They have that whole mycelium network that communicates the tree's needs and what their what their necessities are to continue to prosper and to bloom where they are. And when you're closed off from other energies, how can you bloom? I'm not talking about being a hermit. I'm talking about
Not not being so emotionally bonded to your own perspective that you discount other perspectives out of rote.
that you become myopic. All you see is your vision. Now, I know that quite a few people that are out there right now, I can feel that they don't really resonate with that,
Mm-hmm.
but they know someone in their life that does have that real staunch, steadfast perspective that they won't budge, they won't shift. Nope, this is it. And, a lot of that steadfastness stems from fear of wanting to change, fear of losing control, uh, and and they really don't want to shift perspective. We really can't do anything to help those folks if they don't want to shift
But
themselves.
what if the perspective that they're seeing is a core value, is a very personal truth?
Well, um, I believe that there's a time and place for that,
Mm-hmm.
but I think if it's a real core value, that you won't find yourself in an argument over it. I don't know. It feels to me like um,
There's a
if
lot of
if
things that you can see from that I can understand what you're saying that from as far as perspective goes. There's the mundane, everyday things that if you just allow your perspective to shift a little bit, you might find yourself in less conflict. You might nudge yourself in the way of thinking that changes your core value a little bit. But if it's something that's deeply rooted in who you believe you are as a person, how do you change that perspective?
Well, I mean, maybe you don't need to,
But allow that others have differing views.
but there is that, and allow for that I guess kind of, what's the word? Yes,
Flexibility and
that's the word. Yep, that's the one. Flexibility with uh with those energies,
because
because
I know that there's things that I believe that you are firmly against, and I get, but you don't allow that. You don't try and get me to change my core beliefs and who I. No, this is what I believe. You allow me opportunities to explain my point of view, my
hmm
perspective, without judgment,
right.
even though it's counter to your point of view, your perspective.
Well, we have to be able to listen to one another. If we can't listen to one another and hear other perspectives,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If you can't hear other people's perspectives, you're not doing something right. Okay? If you simply cannot hear other perspectives, you need to take a step back for a minute and maybe untighten some binds a little bit, because in order to live in a society of various cultures, colors, religions, we need to be adaptable, and we need to be um, open to others' perspectives, or we're never going to find ourselves on common and solid ground.
And being open to another's perspective doesn't necessarily mean changing your perspective.
It just means being allowed to see beyond.
In the arc of how things all work out, if you allow yourself that ability to see things from another person's point of view, it's through those subtle communications that change starts to happen.
Right.
It isn't with the battering somebody into submission to see things from your point of view.
So, uh, oh, it was just there. Oh, come back, please. About perspective, 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 perspective. There was a really awesome point that keeps coming forward, and like it slips before I can quite grasp it. It's like somebody whispering it and I can't quite hear it. And then when I do, like, no
But you got
offense,
the
but you're
answers.
talking, so I'm like waiting for you to finish politely. I can't go, maybe I should. Uh, but it was important. It's come by 3 times now.
Well, I'll keep my mouth shut. You get back into the flow here.
Um,
So I think it's an important topic. It really is.
but perspective, perspective,
We were
perspective.
talking about core values, personal truths, not trying to make somebody change their perspective. They needed to hear another perspective.
Maybe it'll come back. Huh. Just like that. Poof. Because I didn't want to take it down that road of the same old topic that we've discussed when we've discussed perspective before. And I was thinking I needed to steer you out of that direction a little, because that you were going down that ready to hear,
Mm-hmm.
and there was something a bit more magical that we needed to talk about when it comes to perspective. And I can't freaking remember what it is. Of course not. Oh, okay,
Well,
calm down.
was it the
Let's
Fae?
draw a card.
Was it not with that energy?
Okay. Let's shuffle cards. That always calms me down. Okay, calm. Shuffle the cards, Gussie. Shuffle the cards. Breathe. Breathe.
Just
Ooh, I do have some tingly energy. There's some a good shift in the energy here.
direct that fade ED into the shuffle.
My fade ED
Yeah.
is whoop, there's the card.
There.
Oh my goodness, but we have seen this one before.
Have we now?
Well, maybe not. It's the King of Cups in the reverse position. This is such a new deck. We haven't had it long enough to really get to know these cards very well. And we need a new lamp over here, my love.
Yeah. We'll get to that, Shelley. Let Gussie do this.
The King of Cups. Yes, indeed.
Yesterday was
Things
Queen of Cups.
things
Or Monday.
things are looking a little bleak. And yes, I know. I know they are. In the reverse position, it kind of feels like your hands are tied. Like there's not much you can do in the situation where, even though you might feel comfortable normally kind of moving forward and leading the pack, if you will, for some reason, there's some kind of constraint or pushback against you making this forward motion. And I know that folks are experiencing, we call it the timey-wimey. Mist calls it the wormhole. Um, I'm assuming that psychologists or psychiatrists would call it cognitive dissonance because we don't know what's coming down the around the corner, so we're all a little bit on edge. I get it. But the part about it that's really difficult for you is you you've done so well staying in control for the most part for so long, kind of holding things together. But all of a sudden, you're in new territory that you don't really know. There's so much to kind of take in. You're not really sure which direction to go. Now, back on the topic of perspective, I'm going to put that card down for a minute. Um, one of the blessings and curses of the internet and social media has been that we are allowed to have a more open perspective for engagements, political or otherwise, that are happening around the world that perhaps we weren't always being, given the information. I know that even back in like 2016, I remember doing a lot of deep diving on how um, a publication such as TIME would have both uh, United States and international version copies of the same issue for the
Mm-hmm.
same month, but different covers, different topics, different
Different content.
content completely, and it just really opened my eyes to how we weren't really privy to a lot of what was going on around the world. A lot of us talk about having so much freedom here in America, and I do believe that we do. Don't get me wrong. I'm, proud to be here, and in spite of all the fuckery and all the stuff that goes on, um, I know that I'm here for a reason, and we're going to get through this. But the perspectives that we are being asked to look at more and more, it's just like, how much more can we really take in? Because there's just, I'm going on.
Hmm.
I'm doing,
It's a lot to take in. It really is when it comes to perspective. Because Shelley even asks a valid question: is what
oh,
if their
yes.
point of view on a subject is harmful to other people or yourself? Aren't we required to make an attempt to help them see that? And yes, we are. And if it's an immediate threat that's going to cause physical harm, there's no sense trying to see it from their perspective.
I mean, I guess
You,
I didn't even think that we
yeah,
needed to say that, so
you
you're
stop
right.
the immediate harm.
I mean, yeah.
You respond with as much force as necessary to prevent further harm.
You
But
werewolves
I
always
know
keeping it in the muggle.
we do
We
we
just can't ever quite get in the magical realm.
but it is a magical realm if you consider that the Fae are balanced
Hmm.
in the Fae realms. They aren't in a constant state of social distrust and division. And one of the reasons
Not
behind that
even
is
within the on Sealy Court because
right. There's
they they have a balance
there's a
within.
balance of perspective there
Hmm.
that we as humans are starting to lose. So Shelley's right. There are things going on in the world socially and politically that we can achieve a magical solution for.
I don't think I'm gonna just. I'm, I don't think we're beginning to lose perspective. I think that we're beginning to unravel the
Oh,
false
the,
perspectives
there's a lot of
that
that,
have
yes.
been kind of wound
You're right,
through our
Gussie.
societies. And
Oh, I've gone through a profound shift in my magical views, political views, social views, almost every aspect of who I thought I was and becoming has shifted greatly just because of that unraveling,
hmm
seeing things from another perspective.
well, and it can be such a subtle thing sometimes. Sometimes you can shift your perspective and you don't even realize it until you go, oh,
Suddenly, I feel differently about
right,
this subject. You're
right.
right. You're right. And as a werewolf, that's hard for us to do. We are very much rooted in
You're always on patrol.
on patrol, looking for what's going to make cause a threat to our community. And a lot of that are perspectives that we don't adhere to, that we're always on the lookout for. So Shelley's question is from a werewolf fae perspective is quite valid. How do you defend your community against those perspectives that are a threat to the values that we hold true?
Go ahead.
I don't know. I really don't know because I truly honestly believe as you do, roll your tongue 7 times, never respond in anger. You have this ability to see things from perspectives that just boggle me sometimes. How can you do that? It takes a, to me, it's mental gymnastics to see things from other people's perspectives sometimes. You have an ability to do that without changing who you view as yourself.
I can align with folks' energy. I think that's part of being an empath is that I can see it from their perspective, even if it's sometimes just a glimpse.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that's all it takes. But I didn't want to get into this. Wasn't meant to be a perspective discussion about like I don't know. I guess we need to discuss this because where I kept wanting to take it keeps getting sort of like I don't know. The energy is just not flowing. I've got two cards here in front of me that popped out
Well,
though.
take it the direction you wanted it to go
I
because
don't
it may
know.
unravel
I
where.
I don't know.
Okay.
That's the thing. So the 10 of Pentacles, happy family, ancestors gathered round, lots of productivity and prosperity. Even though there's shadows in the background, meaning, putting up, uh, putting on a false smile, definitely don't do that. And the perspective issue that we're talking about goes so deep right now. It goes well beyond just the physical part. I guess that's what I'm trying to get everybody to understand. I don't want to talk about, physically um, shifting perspective on, human altercations one on one. We've talked that into the ground about how to interact with other people and in those moments of anger. I feel like we've had that
Mm-hmm.
conversation a lot. What we need to start reminding ourselves is that there is a big shift coming, and I know you can all feel it. I know you can feel it. I can feel it in the very to my bones. I can feel it to the in the essence of who I am. There's a shift coming. I know some people think that it, might happen on Monday with the eclipse. That is definitely some portal energy, and it's really ramping up. There's so many other like astrological, like just incredible sort of, you know, synchronistic synchronistic moments that are happening in the month of April that we just need to hold on to our hats and know that we're going to be shifting perspectives. We're going to be like when you're trying to water ski and you can't get your ass up out of the water. You can't get your ass up enough. You got to keep pulling, and they're not
Hmm.
going fast enough because let me tell you, you cannot water ski behind a pontoon boat. But, you know, good on me for trying, right? But I remember that feeling of like my ass just kept smacking the waves. I couldn't quite, because we weren't going quite fast enough.
Hmm.
And the pontoon just couldn't quite go fast enough. So, and I wasn't strong enough, evidently.
I've never tried water
Oh my
skiing.
goodness. But that feeling, we know it's coming. We know there are going to be things that we're asked by the media, by our community, by our friends, by our own, intuition. We're going to be thinking about things that shift our perspective. I remember as a young woman, uh, as you've heard me mention many times, I was raised in the Lutheran Church.
That's how compromises.
Don't you dare. I just got back on track. When I was a young woman, I was going to church dutifully. My mother made sure that I did. And you've heard me say that catechism and communion and all of that. But I always knew that there was this other side to me that stood out just a little bit differently than the other folks that were around me in my community. I knew it. I don't say that pompously or with any kind of pride necessarily because it was actually really difficult not to quite fit in, to be the little freaky kid at the party that scares everybody, to
It was
be.
hard not to fit
It
in.
was hard not to fit in. And I tried my best. I'm sure you did too. But once I got out of that community and I went to college to get my undergrad degree, I began to see life from a different perspective. Now, yes, I went to a Lutheran college for the first 4 years of my college career, but that didn't mean that perspective didn't shift. There were people from all around the world that attended that college. It was an institution of higher learning, so of course they were encouraging, inner insight and deeper thoughts, conversations. So there was that. But I remember at one point I decided that even if I wanted to be Christian again, I knew too much about the spiritual realm, about other cultures, other beliefs, other instances that are undeniably not only magical but also memorable enough that the stories continue in our myths and legends to this very day. We're going to be asked to remember some things, told they're not true. We're going to be faced with having to make a choice to believe this way or that way. And I'm not just talking politically. I feel like there's some really big energy shifts coming down the pike. I feel like, we are ready to really emerge into this other dimension. We've been pushing in that direction for a while, almost like, birthing ourselves into this next level up, if you will. Um, but in that process, I believe, not all folks do happen to move forward to that next dimension. So that's why you're seeing a lot of folks struggling right now with illness and some are crossing over. I've had a few folks reach out this week and say, "What the heck is going on?" I know so many people whose families are suffering, and it's worldwide, and we're blessed here in the United States right now. We don't have any active state of war going on, but it certainly, yes, thank you, Candle, I agree. It certainly is, you know, whispers on the wind. Another card.
You've really hit some nerves on this one for me, and I think it's it's for me. There's some people out there that some nerves have been hit.
The star. Am I hitting nerves like you're angry with me right now?
Not angry at all, not in the slightest.
So you're feeling challenged?
Ooh, bless you.
Thank you.
I'm not. I don't even know if I'm feeling challenged, Gussie. It's more of a. I feel completely in sync with what you're saying that we're going to be forced to see things now for a truth. We've been asking for several years now for things that no longer serve our greatest and highest good to be shown to us, unwound and cast away.
Mm-hmm.
In doing that, we're giving ourselves permission to start seeing things from new perspectives, to start to challenge what we've been told to believe and look at things from a more truthful point of view. And in
Yes.
doing so, so many of us are opening up, not just socially to what's going on, but spiritually as well.
Correct.
And in doing that, we're seeing things now that from our new perspective, our new place on a different perch of reality viewing, things that are just so atrocious that we can't understand how they can move forward any longer. How can those atrocities, those thousands of people that are being inflicted terrible pains, how can we see the perspective that allows that to continue? Because from a magical level, that's hurting.
I don't think that we're meant.
I know.
See, no, you don't, because I'm trying, and this has been going on for days with Grim and I. It's like I say pepper, he says salt. It's just been, this has been a thing. But like, I am thinking more spiritually, not warfare. I'm
I
thinking,
know.
but you keep wanting to bring it back to this, like, I just personally wasn't feeling inspired to go in that direction today. So when you asked me this, how do you do this very hardcore human thinking? I'm not there with you. You're gonna have to do it on your own because I'm just not there. I'm really trying to stay out of the muck. I'm trying to keep my perspective on a higher vibration. I'm really trying to. Yes, it's unfortunate if somebody's gonna hurt themselves, but you know what? I'm not talking about that right now. I'm not talking about death and war and violence like that. I'm talking about allowing yourself to shift to a new understanding of what you've been taught all along. And I'm not talking about we're going to go mainstream, uh, I'm talking more like religious views. I'm not talking we're going to start being, one of us. I'm not talking about that. So, but this is a discussion that I know needs to be an ongoing one. I have a feeling that Friday's going to be a doozy. Um, our discussion here, I think. And, certainly I didn't mean to offend anyone or whatnot. I'm really trying to keep my vibe. If I'm trying to create a world of peace and balance and understanding and love and acceptance, really, really, um, you know, why also kind of muddy the waters with you just got to take that to political pagan, baby.
It's it's not a political thing, and I
I
apologize for
know.
doing that.
It's okay.
But
It's okay. It is what it
as
is.
somebody that is trying desperately to understand who he is as a person, as a spiritual being living in a physical world that is just going to shit right now, I have a
It
hard
is.
time empathizing enough with some of the actions that I see happening on a global level
Well,
that is hurting us
I mean,
spiritually.
I don't think that anybody's asking you to empathize,
No, I know, I know.
but but I can see when I and I didn't want to go there, Grim, but when you're grounded. I'm putting you in timeout, sir.
You handed me a card.
Yeah, I did, because you said you're looking into finding out who you are.
And then you
You're the
hand me a
star
card at that?
that says
Man.
the star. I know we really need better light, and my phone's dead, so I can't use my phone.
That's okay.
The star. It's one of the major arcana. To me, that's one of the most powerful cards in the deck. To me personally,
Okay. You handed me this card when I asked what?
you were you were saying that you've had a lot of perspective shifts this week, really, as
Mm-hmm.
things are kind of unraveling before you. It's really you've taken a step back to really try to see who you
Who I
are
am.
in this new perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, there you are. There's a card because I didn't know who that card belonged to, but
So to take that a step further now, I'm looking at the card and the stars being represented by looking. Ah, god dang, Graham. Looking inward to find out who you really are is what this card is telling me. Look beyond headlines. Don't look at what you're being told to believe about religion. Don't look at the fact that things in the world today are deeply rooted. The problems of today are, in a lot of ways, deeply rooted in religion. So, this new perspective that I'm starting to battle with in my life right now really, really, truly is stemming from a point of view as I see that I'm not going to be able to make any grand sweeping changes. I'm not going to be able to inflict any kind of knowledge counter to what somebody wants to believe. All I can do is live the life that I want to live.
shine your light, and those that need to find it will find it.
And if there is an immediate threat to the community, that's where I get bogged down, but we'll go there another day. That is the inner question that I've been battling with.
I guess I don't understand. Are you talking about picking up arms and going to battle,
No,
or
no, no,
take me there?
no,
Go ahead. We've only
no.
been no go. You got 3 minutes.
I've got 3 minutes. I don't know, Gussie. I'm
Come
sorry.
on. Well, I don't even understand the dilemma. I mean, I guess you're talking about like you're wanting to talk about what's happening well, what's happening over
No, I don't want to talk about any one particular thing that's happening in the world right now. What I is as a spiritual person, as somebody that's trying to connect with my own personal divine
hmm
and encouraging others to do the same.
hmm
One of the areas of conflict that I have within my own heart is I'm a fighter, a biter, a snarler, a growler. So as we go into these topics of changing perspective, or not changing, seeing things from other people's perspection, God, I'm even starting to choke on the word. Even from a religious context, a spiritual context, believe, start questioning the things that you've been fed, the whole 9 yards.
hmm
I still see, I still have this need to bite those perspectives that challenge what I view as positive growth.
But I don't think anybody's saying that changing your perspective means you don't bite. That
No, not changing my perspective, a refusal to accept other perspectives that I view as harmful to social growth.
Yeah, well, there are boundaries. We're not all floating in the same shitstorm. I mean, I'm not. I guess that's where I'm confused because to me, there are certain there are certain rights to me for humanity, that we should all have, drinkable water. We should all have, edible food. Maybe not in excess like we have here in the United States, you know,
But basic human rights
but
to
basic
survive.
human rights to survive. I believe in allowing people to live and let live. I think as long as they're not harming other people,
Mm-hmm.
then they are allowed to pursue whatever artistic, religious, or, as long as they're not harming other people and really themselves. But if
Right,
they're harming themselves, they're harming their community. So
right.
that goes without saying, but I guess we gotta sometimes nudge it down into that um,
Detail.
detail. But um, no, and I didn't mean that to anybody. In somebody is really ready to have an argument today.
Is it you?
I don't know. I don't. I want to stay away from it. That's, I guess, my thing is like, I
I
feel
think that's part of where we keep kind of hitting the sandpapers. Uh, is there a preconceived area that you think I'm wanting to bring the direction of the topic or anything?
no, no,
No?
no, no, because I've been wanting to talk about, um, and I did touch on how when I reached a certain level of understanding in
Mm-hmm.
my religious viewpoints, I knew too much to remain simply a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean that in any poor way, bad way, derogatory way about our Christian friends and family.
It's just a new perspective on your
It's just
Christianity.
once you get shifted to a new perspective, it's sometimes hard to shift out. It is hard to shift out. You got to keep moving forward. Sometimes, as much as you don't want to continue looking at it and moving forward, you have to, because if you don't, you're just going to stay stuck back in the muck doing the same old thing.
So take it completely out of the physical, go completely esoteric with just allow your perspective to be viewable and view other perspectives to allow your spirit to change, to evolve, regardless of what's going on in the mundane world.
Be open right now.
Right.
Yeah, it's real important to be open right now, and not caught up in the all the
Oh,
chaos that the like at the human level is just,
okay.
the Schumann resonance has been like,
You got me. I'm
wait,
good now.
okay, you
I'm good now.
understand me? Okay.
I'm good now.
Sometimes I have a hard time communicating, and it's been one of those weeks, hasn't it?
It is, and I've been having a hard time receiving because I've been caught up in an inner conflict that is going to be rewriting a little bit about how I view myself
Oh,
if I can come to a resolution for it. So,
okay.
and this particular conversation, this topic has helped me smooth out some of those vibrations.
Well, good, because it's been kind of bumpy. All right. Well, I love you all. Bumps and no bumps. I mean, that's just what we're here for. We're here to go through these bumps together. I know somebody said hashtag withstanding. I know the Gussy and Grymm bot says hashtag withstanding down there frequently. And that's what it's all about. It's about being able to come together and work through some misunderstandings, sometimes trying to see others' perspectives. As far as what is happening with the killing of just,
You can't acknowledge a perspective if you can't see it from their point of view. And if you can't acknowledge their perspective, you cannot find resolution and common ground. And that comes from anything from spirit to physical to any aspect of your life. If I cannot see your point of view, I cannot find that area in our life where we can blend our points of view.
and sometimes it's sticking to your word and helping the other person see that they need to, oh my God, all these years I've been thinking about it that way. That's an aha moment. Oh my gosh, this is the reality of it. It happens in layers, and we can't be judgy about folks that are on different parts of the journey because at one point we were probably there ourselves. Uh, it's been quite the ride, and I know this April, we're only April 3rd right now. Grymm can't even remember what day it is at the moment, and
Tomorrow is trash day, right?
it's been 420 every day all day this week. But just know that as things are shifting, you can always reach out, um, you know, get in touch with one of us, or really all these folks that gather with us. These names, I love these names and trust so many of the names that are here. Not those scammy people, but the names that that you see a lot. We're here to get through this. I don't know what it is. I'm not one of those people that's out there proclaiming, this big, Starfleet's going to come in and save us on Monday, or, there's going to be some like, you know, light code activations. I mean, I see that all over the place, and I know that that is all possible, and I'm willing. My perspective is open to be shifted. But there's so much of it out right now. It's just difficult to know which direction to go. So stay open and
So
trust your heart.
you're willing to accept whatever reality is manifested when it happens.
Well, the one that resonates. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Yep,
Okay. I guess that's enough for today. People are saying good night.
yep.
So I'm going to shush now
Thank you
and
for helping me, Gussie.
oh, you're welcome, and thank you for putting up with me not being able to.
Ah,
I mean, I literally like you asked me those questions twice, and I'm like, I have no. Yeah, well, Susan, the calendar date block is because I fixed it
yep,
myself.
yep.
Yes, indeed. All righty. So I love you though so much. All right. So you are the star. Don't forget you.
Look inward.
Don't forget you. Look inward.
That's where the star
Keep your
is.
chin up. Try to remember this stuff is all temporary. That we'll get across the river one way or another. It's just a little bit crazy right now. If you need a reading, I know Susan put our link there, openthepurpledoor.com. It's more than just a tarot reading. It really is a glimpse into kind of what's coming down the pike for you, or even what has been kind of, percolating in your life, and we'd love to help you through those shadows. So always reach out to us there. Don't forget, at 9 p.m. tonight is Pause for Peace. That's 9 p.m. your time. Join our little community of witches. We gather together and send our healing, loving, balanced, harmonious, peaceful energy outward into the world. I see that there are folks talking about doing like this and special that, and I'm just so proud of the fact that we do it every night. We're not waiting for a special day. We're every night we're focusing on a different word of power, not just for ourselves and understanding, but for the world. So join us on the Purple Door for that. Just go in there, find the post. It's usually right around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and you can tell us what time you paused with us. Also, don't forget that the Purple Door e-zine is about to come out. The April edition is all about astrology, and Copper was a big help with that this month. And thank you to the guild leaders and writers that did send in articles, because I'm working in the background. We'll get it out real soon. I think that's about it, right?
You have a beautiful glow.
Oh, thanks, Grimmer.
You really do.
Either it's not just the computer.
No, I'm looking at the glow that radiates away from
Ah, Susan says, shine bright like a diamond.
you. I
Copper's
love that
here.
song.
Copper's here. Yay, Copper. Yes, I just looked in my list of things to edit and format into the e-zine, and I saw a whole bunch of Copper edition. So I'm happy about that because, I understand that this month, the alchemy of astrology, it's an area that even I haven't studied enough that it's actually stuck in my craw very well. I don't understand why. Ask me about crystals and stones and going across the veil anytime. But for some reason, I know that's an area that not everyone is called or drawn to. So we're hoping that this month's easing will cover some of the bases for you so that you have a better understanding of what astrology is about. Okay, before I sneeze, I think I'm just going to say good night for the night. There are ancestors all around. I want you to know that's the last thing. Perspective. Know that they're with you even if you don't want them to be right now. They are standing guard and at ready to help us through this shift, through this change. So just be aware and open to uh, what comes your direction, but also listen to it with a judicial heart based on your own integrity and insight and understanding. All right. Love y'all. Stay magical.
Silver shoes.
I love you.
I love you. I mean it. You did help me with something that's been started with that bite.